listening to Cup of Queens with Paige and Saray, and today we're so excited. We have the lovely Lindsey Grace from Lindsey Grace Interiors, and we are picking her brain on all things decorating and how she started her own business.
Lindsey tells us so much valuable information, including her internship that she did in New York, and also the importance on creating a great space to feel great on the inside.
So grab your cup and enjoy.
All right.
Yay.
Well, you're prepared.
Yeah, you are prepared.
I've my research. Eye of the tiger. She's like, I am.
Yes. What do you want to know? Ask me everything.
All right.
Cheers to Wine Wednesday.
Cheers to Wine
Yay.
Wednesday. Gosh dang. I was so excited for this.
I texted Saray and I was like, I can't wait to have a big old glass.
I know.
Nothing like a middle of the week
Yes.
drink.
Oh, this is good.
And moving into a short week, at least for
us.
you 9-to-5s out there who get Monday off.
Yeah.
Yep.
That'll be great.
I'm excited. We actually get Friday off too, which is, I think, unique. We normally don't always get Friday off, so that'll be good, and hopefully the weather's nice.
I know. It's kind of a shitstorm today because
And yesterday too.
I just bought planters. I don't know if you saw those when you walked in,
Yeah.
but bought planters, and it's like the day I buy planters, it just turns into the most windy day North Dakota's ever seen, and it was a disaster on my front porch this morning.
Yeah, one of my clients, when I walked in today, she goes, "Oh, I'm so glad I covered my pots last night." And I was like, "Oh, well, I did not do that."
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we were supposed to do that, but I did not.
Well, I put a poll on my story, and I was like, who thinks I can keep these plants alive till the end of summer? And it had a lot of people vote yes. And I'm like, none of you told me about bringing my plants indoors, so thanks for the help.
Well, we'll see how it goes. We'll see what they look like in a couple days.
I know. I'll keep everybody posted.
So we're so excited. We have Lindsey Grace from Lindsey Grace Interior Design. So we can't wait to hear everything that you want to say.
Yes.
Let's try this right now. I don't know why. If I haven't had enough wine, just kidding. But give us the backstory. Tell us about you, your company, how you got started.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me, and cheers to both of you. So I have been in Fargo now. I feel like every year I keep saying the same amount of years, so I have to remember to add one. But this fall I'll have been in Fargo for 4 years with my business, and up until this last fall, actually, I was working outside of my home. I always had one intern. I've had a couple now throughout the years, NDSU students helping me out. But then this September, mid-pandemic, we made a big leap into our studio space that we have, and I brought on some team members as well to help me out. So I have Sue, who she really helps out with all the product ordering and expediting, and then I have Chelsea, who as of this week now is graduated and full-time, and she is on, and it feels so good to have a team, and we really now, like, we have so much fun together every single day, and I always enjoyed, the reason why I do what I do is because I always enjoyed having that client interaction. But now having, a girl squad and a team of ladies that are just so awesome around me every day is just even better. So.
And you're always stronger together.
Oh, for
Exactly.
sure. For sure. Yeah.
Yes.
In the creative outlet, especially, I feel like, I don't know, within Paige and I, our jobs, like, being creative, it takes a team. It really does.
Because I
It
feel like
really
some
does.
days you're in a rut, and then other days you're on it. But then if you're not, somebody else is.
Right.
So
and
that's fun.
Yeah, the biggest thing about our projects too is, some projects, they range from, 3 months that we're working with a client if we're doing decorating, 9 months if it's a build out. But then we have some projects that we were working on for 1.5 to 2 years.
Wow.
And to be able to handle everything, it's so nice to be able to have somebody come in and give a fresh look at something that you've been working on, or vice versa. So
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about those different projects. So, I mean, as far as something short term to something like you said up to 2 years, what does that all look like?
Yeah, so we help clients with the way that I break down our services is that we offer new construction where we guide our clients through a new build process. And depending on the scale, the builder, the size of home, that can really differ. But when I say full service, that means that we're there from start to finish, that we're there looking at the finalized floor plans, that we're putting the finished vase on the mantle type of thing. And I truly believe as a designer that is where my clients really get the bang for their buck with a service. I think, sometimes from the consumer standpoint, clients will come in, and even I can come into certain situations and look at it and say, well, no, I just want you to do this part. I only need help with this. Mm-hmm. But from a professional standpoint, we really need to know, the ins and the outs and the whys behind mm-hmm. everything in order to give our clients, the best results for their projects. So we have our new construction projects, and those can vary. But then we also have our decorating services where if you have an existing home and mm-hmm. you just want new furniture, mm-hmm. We come in and do the space planning and present you with your space, and then we take care of ordering it all, and we do a white glove delivery when everything's arrived.
I need that.
Yes. And this is a question, because do you think a lot of your clients, is their time working with you maybe on like their second home or after they've kind of tried to do it themselves?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Most of the time, and I'll even tell clients, we are not something that it always makes sense to invest in. Mm-hmm. And so that's why we have a very clear intake process. I always have a discovery call with them and learn about their project. We probably aren't going to be the right service for somebody who is only going to be in their starter home for 2 or 3 years. Mm-hmm. And then wants to move on to their forever home. And I tell my friends all the time, because, as my girlfriends, they always ask me, Lindsey, should I do this? What should I buy? What should I buy this? And I look at them sometimes, I go, I know you're going to move in 3 years, so don't buy anything. Yeah. Don't invest a whole lot in anything, because the best investment is investing in your space. Mm-hmm. That you want. And there's always a caveat to that too, because I feel like now a lot of homes, now that we're looking at design being so important to so many people because it's everywhere, I see a lot of clients that either sell their homes with all of their furnishings in it, or they buy homes that have the furnishings in it already. So
interesting.
I think, and that kind of goes into also, not to go off on another, but I think that, the number one question I get all the time too is, how do I make sure that the investment in my design is going to last?
Yep.
I always say, if it's well done, mm-hmm. and if it's well designed, mm-hmm. it will last. It will stand the test of time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
I think I've thought about that a lot. Well, Paige and I both, we just built our first homes, mm-hmm. and
congratulations.
Tried to decorate it.
Did our best. It's beautiful.
Did our best. Yeah. But I mean, the resale value is something that's like, especially when it's not mm-hmm. your forever home, mm-hmm. is something in the back of your head, and it is a little restricting. Yeah. And I can imagine now after doing, this project on my own, I'm like, okay, I need some help. This is not my forte. This is not my wheelhouse.
Yeah. Well, you never really know.
You don't.
When you first start and getting into it. Or, we're both young, so what do we know about building homes?
Right. So that's cool that you help people with the build. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. And I would say that that's a service that you could really, we offer for any scope, price point, budget. We offer our new construction services and help guide through that process. And that, again, is just ensuring that when you get to the end of your build, that you love what you did. Mm-hmm. We have very few clients that say, oh, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that, mm-hmm. because we truly go through why we're doing everything. Yeah. Clients walk in and if their countertops or their fireplace finishes they don't second guess it because we've already talked through the why of what we're doing. And we've looked at all the options and decided on the best one. And I think that helps kind of secure your satisfaction.
Yeah, for sure.
And especially, I mean, sometimes people don't know what they want.
Right.
And I'm sure you probably bring a lot of questions to, do you want to wallpaper your bedroom? Okay, let's do that before you move all of your stuff in there.
And that you have to skim coat the walls if no texture on the walls.
Didn't even know that. I'm like, gosh, I'd love to wallpaper my bedroom, but the thought of moving all my furniture is just not worth it.
Right?
Yeah. I went through a really pretty home, the Parade of Homes, this past year, and they had wallpaper in the bedroom. So it made me think of that. And I saw it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. But okay, now that I know it's a process, I probably won't.
But if you had done it at the start of building your home,
Yes.
where I'm sure you probed those questions of, okay, what is going to be the vibe of the master bedroom? What do you want the bathroom to look like?
Yeah, we always start with the visual of going through images, whether they're our current or past projects, or Instagram or Pinterest. We always start with going through and getting a visual. And then throughout the process, we also use design boards, digital design boards. After each meeting, we always update it with the visual communication that we've done that meeting, so that we can all stay on the same page throughout, because those projects that take 1.5 to 2 years, I mean, so this is kind of a funny story. One of my clients, we have heated seats in all of their bathrooms. It was something that was just important to them. And well, when you have heated seats, you have to have an outlet next to it. Well, I walked through 1.5 years afterwards, and I go, oh no. I said, I don't know why. We didn't need there wasn't the heated seats in this project. Like, why do we have heated seats in all the bathrooms? And so I had to call the client. She started laughing, and she goes, yeah, I remember. I was like, oh my God, it was 1.5 years ago. I said, I thought I was going to have to break it to you that you're going to have all these extra outlets and next to each one of your toilets, which would have been kind of convenient, but.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Heated seats on a toilet I've never even heard of.
That's amazing.
A luxury. It is very nice.
What are some things that are kind of really unique like that you've done?
People have been requesting, and this is one I haven't done, a heat. I guess we're in North Dakota. People have been requesting heated countertops. So when you lean on your island.
Oh my gosh.
Heated.
Well, granite's really cold.
Amazing.
So I could see that.
Totally.
We haven't done that yet, but I've had clients, request that and look into that. What are some other, really cool things? I might have to think on that.
Okay.
I'm sure I'll come up with
Yeah. When you think about it, let us know, because
okay.
I just want to know because the more you hear, the more you are like, okay, next house, I'm going to get the heated toilet seats. Now I know that's a thing.
Well, post-pandemic, I did, not to be on the subject of toilets all the time, but we did start getting requests for bidets.
Really?
Funny.
That is one thing I can't get on board with.
I can't either. I think it's weird.
I don't love it. But I know a lot of people do, and it's kind of the new thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not a new thing, but it's starting to become more normalized to seeing a home.
Yeah, and it's normal in every country other than really ours, but a lot of people do panic rooms, which I don't think is like that odd, but it's something that I think not everybody thinks about putting in their house, is putting in like a storm or a panic room downstairs.
Sure. Interesting.
Yeah, I've done that. I don't know. I guess I don't really think anything's too weird after doing it for so long.
I'm used to this.
Yeah,
I'm sure if we were just to talk, or you to walk us through a house, Paige and I would be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. But it's probably normal to you.
So what's your favorite style? I mean, do you typically have like a style? Do clients really come to you with, open minds, or?
Yeah, I would say that my style leans a little bit more coastal and fresh, but it's very light and bright, updated. I mean, we are seeing a lot of people ask what we're seeing now. The dark stains are coming back in. Okay. We are seeing,
really?
Yes, but in a fresh way.
Interesting.
Yeah, and gray is coming back in too in a fresh way. In a more of a taupey tone instead of a colder gray or a cooler gray tone. But yeah, I truly believe, again, every designer is so talented, and they have their own ways of how they meet their clients' expectations. I feel as though our aesthetics, as far as client and designer or design team, have to align in order for it to be the best experience for everybody. And that is something that I use as Instagram and my website and my blog as a tool to really, again, go through the intake process with my clients and say, did you get a chance to check out our Instagram? Is that what you feel that you would potentially like your home to feel like?
Yeah.
And, there's always different times where it's yes, but a little bit more farmhouse, or yes, but we're at the cabin, so we want it to be a little bit more rustic but still feel fresh. But that is something that I definitely always encourage my clients, and I encourage anybody that is looking to hire a designer. It truly is their aesthetic, is their personality, and it helps when everybody is on the same page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, if someone were to come to you and give you something that is totally not your personal style, would you take on the challenge, or like how would you navigate that?
I think every designer, if any designer is listening right now, they're all smiling, because yes, at some point, all of us designers have had those projects, and we've taken them on because you have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And they teach you so much, and those are basically how you gain your design core. So yeah, it depends. Of course, if the client's personality and we're like, oh, we're like soul sisters, we have to work together. And there's certain things that you have to check off, that, personality, timeline, where we're at with our project load, where their timeline exists. It's not all about aesthetic, but it is a big one.
It's nice to have the same vision, I'm sure,
Yeah.
because then it's almost like, I'm sure, automatic for you. You know what looks good when people are looking for a similar style that you have.
Right. And then we're able to really tackle, especially with new builds or remodels, we're able to tackle all of the things that come our way with a clear mindset of what the end goal is. We have that clear, so if, plumbing has to go here, or the electrical needs to be moved over there, or we can't move the plumbing, or then I still am able to kind of navigate the way that we can meet that client's expectations. It makes it a lot more cohesive for everybody.
Yeah.
And probably a lot more of a fun and seamless process.
Yes.
Yeah.
That, and truly, you asked how I got started, and I came to Fargo, and I got married, and I had my dream job in the cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul area. I moved back to Fargo to be with my husband, and I didn't exactly know. I didn't move here and say, I'm going to start my business.
Yeah.
I started talking to industry professionals and kind of getting back into the market here. And I realized that a lot of homeowners were coming out of the build experience, and they were so happy it was over. And I'm like, yes. And I don't want that. And I know every builder in our market does not want that. So that was my big goal. Is I looked at this and I said, okay, so there's these amazing builders in town. There's amazing clientele and homeowners in town that see this market of growth. How can I come in and align the two and take the project allow the builders to really just build.
Right.
And I then take the client experience and then communicate it in a very professional way to the builders, as far as, this is the tile grout, this is the design of the tile that we want on the back wall, and really just specify everything that my clients and I designed to make their lives easier.
Yeah.
So that's one of the big roles that we do play in a majority of our projects.
That's so nice for the client to just, this is what I want, this is where I want it, get it done kind of
Right.
thing. I think that's awesome.
And outside opinion,
Exactly.
too. Someone
Not just doing
separated
it on
from
your
the
own.
build.
Yeah.
I have so many clients that come through my door, and the wife is, dragging their husband in to sit in our studio, and he's like, I don't know why we're here.
Oh.
And by the end of the meeting, they go, oh, thank you. Because I don't always take the woman's side.
Yeah.
But it is good to have that third person, outside of your marriage.
The interjector.
Yeah.
Like the mediator, like just hearing everybody's opinions.
I mean, I'm married, and I always look at it and I go, okay, is this a battle of what you really want, or is this a battle of the being right?
Totally.
Way to look at it.
Look at you, you're just a therapist.
And I love my people. I mean, that's the best part about it, is I get to be so close with so many people. And I mean, babies are born throughout the process, and babies grow up through, the design process, and we just did a nursery, and it was like, I'm always going to be a part of your life, and you're not going to know who I am.
But I'm really important. I get a lot here.
We need updates every birthday. Are you walking?
Oh my gosh. So what's like your favorite part of a home to do?
A powder bathroom always allows for a really good design moment, because it's small and it's safe, because anything that, you're not doing, it's not a lot of square footage, so it's not a ton of expense. So I always love a good powder bathroom, and playing around with the textures and the lights and wallpaper, millwork. I think that's a really fun spot.
That's so cool. I have just like this fascination with the Beverly Hills Hotel.
Yes.
And I love their bathrooms because it's super, obviously it's California, but it's super tropical, bright, and fun greens. So I just think that'd be so cool to do in a bathroom one day. I just love that vibe. Or like a rose gold. But so how do you stay inspired? There's so many designs and so many different options out there. So how do you continue to stay?
I think staying connected within the design community is a big one. Having a really good relationship with our vendors and our reps, and knowing what's out there. My goal is to always keep Fargo connected to the industry, to the top of the industry. And we do that by traveling, but by having really great relationships with the best people in our industry, whether they're local or, in North Carolina. So
that is cool.
So,
yeah.
So do you work like alongside? Yeah. Do you ever like kind of partner with other designers?
Not necessarily other designers, but we, I have really great, I can't say that because I have really great relationships with a lot of the women that I worked with in the past, at our past design firm. And I have really great mastermind group friends. And so, yeah, anytime there's ever a question like that, I have so many great women that support me that way. But more so our vendors that we source the upholstery, the case goods, the wallpaper, the upholstery options, custom fabrics, and being able, the lighting, having really good relationships with those reps. To say, hey, you know what, Lindsay, this is like really your style, and it just came out. We're going to send you a ton of really cool stuff. Yeah. And I was able to cultivate a lot of those relationships working in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area.
Sure.
So when I moved to Fargo, I still just called the same people, and I said, okay, you just have to send it 3 hours farther now.
So what were you doing in Minneapolis? Were you in the same industry?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I worked for a residential designer in the Mendota Heights area.
Cool.
Yeah, so
cool.
It was super fun. We worked with a lot of builders. We did a lot of high-end residential. And I worked with so many women there too. It started out as a team of 3 to 4 people. And then when I left, I think there was like 12 of us. So yeah, we really grew a lot. And it was super fun to see that. And I credit that to me knowing that the sky's the limit. But also then just having a bunch of really great women around me all the time.
That is so lucky and like great that you found that to help build you up and give you the confidence to, when you moved here, say, okay, I can do this.
I can do this. I have the support. I believe I can do this.
Yeah.
I also credit that to never, I didn't have like $1 in my bank account, so I had nothing to lose. My mom was like, are you sure? I go, I'm not sure, but what else could happen?
We will find out.
So this was the first thing that you did when you moved, right? You didn't work anywhere else? Okay.
No, like I said, I didn't know where I really wanted to end up being, and I just kind of created it for myself. So it was really fun.
That's
awesome.
so cool. And I love that you say the sky's the limit. So we typically ask this later in the episode, but I'm going to ask it now because I think it just makes sense. But so what's next for you? I mean, I feel like, and I don't know you super well, but I feel like you're a really driven, motivated person. So, I mean, what's next for you?
Gosh, I
That's a loaded question.
Yeah, it's a very loaded question. I think honestly, just to maintain bringing the high level of design to Fargo, and to keep maintaining, keeping my people happy. You know, that's like the biggest thing, is that we get to be so close with all of our clients, and just figuring out how we can always better meet their expectations is huge. And growing my team, I think that that's probably going to be the motto of this year. I did it on my own or with, part-time help for so long that I think this year it'll be really figuring out how to grow these women with me and learn from them. And I would love to keep growing our builder relationships, and it's really great to be able to work with so many different builders in town, and maybe potentially grow our space soon, so that we have more room to create.
That is awesome.
That's great.
I
That's a
love
great
that you
answer.
say learn from the women that you want to bring on your team, because I think it's very easy, especially it being your business. It's very easy to get, I would assume, in the mindset of, I'm the teacher. Like, I'm the one showing the ropes to these people, but everyone brings something so different to the table. So I love that you say learn from them and give them that credit of their teachers too.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I've always had an intern ever since I started my business. My first one is out in LA right now. And I knew that she was going there when I hired her. And I always tell them, I go, leave if you want to leave, and then come back.
Yeah.
If you want to come back, the door is always open. We'll figure it out. But go do your thing. I was so grateful to learn from so many people, as I mentioned, in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area. But then I also did my internship in New York City. And it was
You're not skipping over that one, but
Everybody drink more water.
So that was super fun, and I learned such that was one of my first work experiences. So I was really learning at that fast pace, and I still, consider a lot of people I worked with there like family, and I've gone back and met their babies and all of that fun stuff. But yeah, I definitely think that our industry is something that you need to be mentored, and you need to learn the tricks of the trade. And I mean, even now, like I mentioned, I even call local designers here, and I go, okay, what are we doing about this? Like, we're receiving product, blinds, draperies, what do we do? Because we do face a very different type of market where we aren't in a big city where we have everything at our fingertips all the time. So it does take a little bit of creativity and teamwork, and I'm always happy to share, and a lot of all the amazing designers in Fargo are always really great about collaborating and sharing in that way too. So
that's
And
awesome.
I love that you guys are always building each other up.
Yeah.
Helping each other thrive and, do better in their everyday life. I think that's great. So
for sure.
But back to New York. Because we need to hear about this.
Yeah, so it's funny. Michaela she didn't do an internship, but she worked in New York for a while.
Okay.
So it was cool to hear about her experience. So we'd love to hear about yours.
Yeah. I was young and single. I was really single. I was single and young, and I told my mom that we were required to do this internship. And I said, well, there's no reason to not go to New York City. So I told my mom that I think I'm going to apply in New York City. Is that okay? And she goes, oh God, okay, sure. Sounds good. And I packed up my bags and I flew out there by myself. And I went and lived in this dorm for 3 months. I didn't know one single person. I had been to New York City one time before. And I look back on it now and I'm so lucky that I just arrived there in one piece because I had all of these suitcases and it was at that weird time where Uber was just starting to come out.
Sure.
But nobody really knew what it was. We were all still able to share our free rides with each other once I made friends. But I called a car service and the car service never showed up to pick me up from the airport. So this guy walks out to me and he goes, I'm an Uber. And I go, oh, okay, I don't know what that is, but let's go.
That's the movie Taken. I'm literally
yeah, don't do that again. People listening, don't do that.
Don't do that.
I have a little more experience in how to Uber or Lyft.
Oh my
so
gosh.
how old were you? Were you like 18?
21.
Oh wow. Okay, that's really young.
Yeah. It was fun. I worked hard. And I met a lot of people. I think that, their work life, their day is 9. They start at 9 and then they go to 6 o'clock, but then the day never ends at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I think it was really fun. I don't think I could maintain, and like I said, we worked really hard too. It's a really high level of maintaining that work pace, but the projects that I saw were super cool. My boss lived next to his neighbor is Katie Holmes, so I
Okay.
That's insane.
So it was just super fun, but it's so normal there too.
Because everybody lives, all celebrities live there, or a ton of them.
Well, and where else are they going to go? They're going to live next to, the average folk like us. There's nowhere else for them to go. And that was super fun. It taught me a lot of also learning how to be around any type of person. That I think was like the biggest thing is we'd go to events and you'd meet everybody from every walk of life, and we, being from the Midwest, get so used to having, being around what's very familiar, and nothing was familiar. And I think there was a ton of lessons in that. That was really nice to be able to sit at a table and talk to anybody, and come from and learn from where they've came from too. It was super fun.
That is wild.
That's so cool. That's something I've never done. And we talk about this all the time, Saray and I do. And I'm like, I would love to just pick up and leave and see what happens.
Yeah.
And figure it out. Because I think I'd learn so much about myself. And just, you never know. Doors open really anywhere if you put yourself out there.
I tell my husband all the time, I would not be the same person I am now if I hadn't had that experience of just being 150% uncomfortable and figuring out how to be comfortable. And it was fun. It was super cool. I encourage everybody to go out and just, but you also have to be at that age where, I don't think I do it now, but I'll be honest, you have to be at that age where, like, when I started a business, probably, I don't think I could do it now. Yeah. Because I would know too much.
You would have your guards up a little bit more. Wouldn't be jumping into random Ubers.
Right. See, I think I probably missed the boat. Okay.
But it is better to do it when ignorance is bliss a little bit.
Yes.
It really is. So how long were you there for?
I was there for 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I lived in a dorm, which was awesome because it was a super nice, controlled setting, where it was still secure and safe. And I was able to meet a lot of girls from all over that were there in the same boat as me. I stayed at the Fashion Institute, so it was a majority of young women doing their thing, working for Rebecca Minkoff and Martha Stewart.
That's amazing.
And if you were in the fashion industry and you go and work for Rebecca Minkoff or something like that, they have these amazing sample sales.
Yes, I've heard of this.
Yeah.
But all of the employees get first dibs. And I remember one day, one of my friends came back.
How do we do it?
Can I be an employee for a month? Just tell me when the sale is going on. Let me sign up. I'll turn in my resume.
I know. And I remember coming home from my internship, and we were all talking about our days, and my one friend she goes, yeah, my coworker grabbed my arm and she goes, grab your wallet. And she goes, what? Oh my God, like, what did I do? And she pulled her arm and she yanked her into the sample sale room, and she was like, get in line, it's gonna get crazy. And I was like, oh, she's like, bags were flying. So I know. I said, well, I just answered phones today, but
but love the shopping spree you had. Love that for you. Wow.
So cool.
3 months is probably a good amount of time to like really learn a lot, but also not like get into some crazy stuff. You know?
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing for me, I met my husband a month after I came home, but I was set on going back. But I mean, realistically, I also knew in the back of my mind that it would be expensive.
Yeah.
It would be so expensive. And growing up in the Midwest where we're more conservative and, you know, I always tell people too, I really miss the smell of fresh air.
Yeah.
That was hard.
Nice yard.
Yeah. So it's glamorous for a while, but I also saw that, you know, we have it really good here too.
Totally.
Yeah. We do.
Fly there for the weekend, get it out of your system.
Yep.
Come home.
Yep. I totally agree. And if you have a home that you love to be in, it makes it a lot easier to do that.
Exactly. Yes. I think we all learned that this year.
Yeah.
You know, it was, and being in a surrounding that you really love and that, you know, makes you feel comfortable. One of the big things I always think about too is life is always happening to us. It is always going to happen to us. We're always going to have joy. We're always going to have disappointments. We're going to have good days and bad days. Our home is the one setting in life that we can control.
That is such a great
really
point.
Great.
And it makes a difference. I mean, it truly does. It makes walking into your surroundings that you love and enjoy, I think is so worth it. And life is short. Enjoy where you're living. Enjoy where you wake up and where you go to bed.
Yeah.
I actually tell clients that all the time because one of the last things that they'll hire me to do is their master bedrooms.
Okay.
And sometimes I say, you know, you deserve this. You know, whether you're a mom or you're working hard all day or you have the kids and you're home all day and you want your living room, your great room, your dining room, kitchen to be the best for them, you need your space as well to recharge and be really good for them during the day.
That is so interesting that you say that because I even think about that with myself as far as like just even like what I decorate and where I invest my time. Yeah. And it's kind of sad because you worry about, well, the kitchen and the living room, that's where people are going to see and understand, or they're going to be able to judge, you know, am I clean? Am I creative? Do I have good taste? In my bedroom, no one goes there but me. So it doesn't matter. When really, it is the one place that you probably spend the most time, and it should be, you do deserve it.
Right. Yeah.
I love that.
Yep.
I was talking with a client yesterday who said, you know, even though you have a stressful day or a busy day, like you still need to break apart time in your day to take care of you and to check in with you. And I was like, that really made me slow down for a minute and realize, wow, you're right. Because I don't do that very often. And I think if you have a place in your home where you can do that and be totally relaxed, makes it even easier. Right. So, okay, speaking of stressful days and disappointing days, how do you deal with days like that?
I just have Chelsea and Sue deal with it.
Excuse me, ma'am. I'm struggling. Help me.
Hashtag team. We're a team. This is your time to shine. I mean, I definitely take time to recharge. I have to. And I try to go to my workout class and sit down and read a book. This past year, that was far and few in between. But it went by really fast. The year just ripped off like a Band-Aid because we were ordering furniture for everybody. But I think, dealing with hard days, you're always going to have, you're never going to please everybody is what I always try and remind myself and my team, and that comes from my wise mother. But I usually just call my mom. No.
Honestly, that is the answer to everything. Call your mom.
Because you can cry, you can laugh, everything.
Yeah. Drink wine.
Drink wine. There's options.
Yeah. I work out. No, I just drink wine.
Speaking of that, we still haven't become friends with Peloton yet. I gotta add you. We talked about that.
Mine's been a little dusty lately. I'm not gonna lie.
I feel that. I know.
We're like, okay.
I feel like I told my husband the other day when I actually did get on it. I said, "Honey, there's a system update every time I get on." And he goes, that might be a sign.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Do they update the system all the time?
Yeah. Wow, Peloton. Really stepping it up now. Oh my gosh. Well, okay, to kind of go off of that, because I can imagine any business owner is going to have hard times. But being that your business is very personal, how do you deal with that? Because it is such when people give you criticism, especially in that aspect, I can only imagine you've put in a ton of time looking for this, and you probably bring these projects to people saying, I love this, but what if they come and just kind of rip it apart? How do you deal with that?
I think, one, I go back to all the time saying that we have a process. So that doesn't necessarily happen.
Okay.
It really doesn't, because we always want to set up our clients' expectations to be met. And I think doing that with positive communication is huge. And also, when there are times when clients do have something, they walk into their kitchen and only, the cabinets are in and no countertops, and they get a little bit upset about how it looks because they weren't sure. I always say, wait for the countertops, wait for the tile, wait for the hardware to go on. But I always put myself in their shoes. And I also know that it's a very emotional process building, and you're investing so much. I know that it's very emotional, and you're invested a lot emotionally as well. So I always just try and listen, and put myself into their shoes. And also know that not everybody is always having the best day.
Totally.
And it's not necessarily going to be the same tomorrow.
Yeah.
So
that's something we can all remember, because it's really easy to have one interaction with someone and be like, oh, they're not going to be easy to work with. And really, it just could have been a horrible day.
I know. I think,
I deal with that a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But sometimes, so in sales, we call in a lot of people, and sometimes people bite your head off, and then the next time you talk to them, you're like, I really don't want to go in there, and then they'll probably buy from you, which is so crazy.
It is.
Everybody has up and downs, so.
Yeah, we're all human.
Right.
I think that we've all started to be really, as women, we've all started to be really hard on ourselves, as far as Instagram and, being perfect with the kitchens and that type of stuff. And I really do think that is starting to, or has started to transpire into our relationships with girlfriends too. I have these expectations of myself, so I now have them of you.
Yep.
And I think that it's something to remind ourselves that not everybody is always, you never know what's going on, and so just listen and put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah.
Everybody's different.
So speaking of that, one thing that we forget to ask, but we really are we're trying to be better about asking everybody on the podcast about is, and you've mentioned this a lot throughout our conversation of, your support for women, how much women have been in support of who you are today. So what does a queen mean to you?
I love that question, Saray.
I know we've asked it a couple of times and then we kind of forget. But I feel like you've had some good, really little bits about just working with women and really positive moments with that. And so I think it would be interesting to hear your thoughts.
Well, I'll take a line from my mom and kind of looking at how she has always taught me to be, but it's just always handling yourself with grace, but then always handling everybody else with grace as well. Mm-hmm. You know, I kind of tie that back to, you know, who I am, and then my wonderful great grandmother who I'm named after, and just a long line of amazing women. Mm-hmm. But giving yourself grace, giving each other grace, and then handling every situation with grace too.
Yes.
I love that.
And it's in your name.
It is. I know. I'm very sentimental about everything.
Oh, I love that.
I'm not that self-absorbed, I swear. I'm just a little sentimental.
No, I think that's so sweet. And, you know,
too.
we've had, I can't remember who, but I know someone else on the pod has actually said something about giving grace. And it's so easy to forget. But I love that you kind of broke down the 3 different ways in which we should think about it, because a lot of times people will give grace to others but not themselves,
right.
or vice versa, give grace to themselves but not to others,
right.
and all aspects are important.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
That was one of my 2021 goals, actually. I remember writing it, give grace to others, because sometimes I have high expectations for myself, so I feel like sometimes I do for other people, which isn't fair. It's really not. So I remember writing that, and I should probably do better.
Everybody needs to.
Everybody needs to.
You could have it tattooed on your face and
really?
You still need reminders of it. Like it's just human nature, I feel like.
Yeah.
But as long as we talk about it and acknowledge it and hear from people like you and your experiences and how that, you know, mantra has helped you, it's only gonna resonate more and more.
My resolution was very similar. It was to take every interaction that I have with people and to be very careful about it, because I felt like this year I was very busy. Mm-hmm. You know, it was easy for me to wear the busy hat. I'm busy. I can't do that. But then you find yourself in like the Starbucks drive-through saying, oh, I don't have time to even say, like, always say thank you. Oh, well, of course I always say thank you, but then always ask them about their day too, you know, and to never be too busy to say hello and to, you know, give people grace, or, you know, be kind and give them a moment. Everybody has a moment.
Yes.
You know, and for us to put those busy hats on that we always have, that my goal was to always make sure that anybody I interacted with, I always made sure I had time. And I need to do better about it too, but
at least you're thinking. I love that you say that.
I do too. Yeah.
I think about many times that I'm in the Starbucks line and I'm like, it's 6 a.m. I'm tired as can be. And this gal is chipper than a bird and wanting to chat. And it's very easy to get in that I'm busy or I'm finishing stuff. And but it's also like you never know what could come out of a interaction.
Yeah.
Well, you never know who could be your customer.
Yeah.
And you never know what they could have been battling the night before.
Exactly.
Or what they have to face after their shift. And so I think just being more conscious of it. But everybody needs to work on it, you know.
Right, exactly.
Friendly reminders all around.
Yeah.
We're all going to be better tomorrow after this.
We're going to wake up.
Everyone, the Starbucks line is going to be hopping. It's going to be a happy place.
I might start the pay it forward.
Yeah.
Right? You guys are going to follow me?
We just start that back up. I feel like at one year, it was everybody was doing it. And now we've kind of lost it again.
There was an article I read. It was probably a year or 2 ago, but it was like so many cars deep. Do you guys remember that? It was in the Inform. I seriously think it was like 30 cars deep. It was crazy.
That's amazing.
At Starbucks on 45th. Yeah.
We got to start somewhere.
Right.
I'll do that tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yep. Make a point.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so, I mean, if you could tell everybody just one kind of last piece of your business and what that means to you, whether it be, you know, how you got started in the industry or advice to maybe hopeful entrepreneurs, what would you say?
Oh, well, I suppose to hopeful entrepreneurs, I would just always say go for it, but have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And reach out to the resources that you have. don't be afraid to ask questions because everybody's going to be supportive of you if you try. And I think to hopeful entrepreneurs, there's just go be one, go be an entrepreneur. And there's not anything that's going to stand in your way. It's not always going to be easy. But it's not always going to be easy for whether you're starting out or whether you've been doing it for 10 to 50 years. And I would just say to everybody to love their surroundings and to invest in themselves in that way.
Invest in your surroundings, people. You heard it first. Start taking care of that master bedroom. It is important.
So where can everybody find you?
Instagram, Lindsey Grace Interiors, Facebook. We also have our website that's kind of our main hub. I feel like we use that for, we share project reveals. I write blogs when I am not so busy. And we really do share a lot of ourselves on our website. I think that's kind of our main place.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, we will be following along. Please keep us updated with all the things that you're doing so that we can share it with everybody, because it's so nice to just hear the great connections that you've made in Fargo and your goal for making Fargo a better place. So,
and I really love that you have a group of women working with you.
Yeah.
I think that is so great, and I love that you take their advice, you boost them up, and vice versa. So thank you
so much.
Lindsey.
Cheers to you and to getting Grace.
Ladies.